Welcome and good evening to the interviews with winners of the John E. Gruber Creative Photography Awards program for 2025. I'm Lisa Hardy and I'm the program administrator with the center. I'm very much looking forward to introducing our winners to you tonight. Each of these talented photographers beautifully captured the theme for 2025, smoke. This year, a total of 463 photographs from 184 photographers representing 36 states and 8 countries were submitted. The panel of judges were astounded by the creativity for this year's contest theme. Drawing on both artistic and technical criteria, the rotating panel of judges selected the winning photographs for their ability to creatively express the contest theme while showcasing refined photographic technique and a strong sense of visual narrative. We would like to thank our judges for their generosity of time and significant efforts to review each photograph and select the winners. No easy feat. I must also thank the Center's Acquisitions and Marketing Coordinator and co-host for tonight, Elron Lawrence, for his tireless work to promote the awards program for 2025. He has also been instrumental in helping behind the scenes this year. Elron, thanks a million. We'd also like to congratulate all of the winners this year. First place, David Stanley and Charles Dischinger. Second place, Al Crossley and David Scharenberg. And third place, Jim Ehernberger and Jeff Mast. The judges also selected 10 other photographs for the Judges Also Liked category. More information about each of these winning photographs can be found on our website and Flickr albums. Tonight, we will be having live interviews with 5 of the winners, and we'll be showing one pre-recorded interview with first place winner in black and white, David Stanley. Before we get into the interviews, I'd like to run through some quick housekeeping information and briefly introduce the Center for Railroad Photography and Art. As a reminder, we use Zoom webinar for our presentations. This means that audience members do not have access to their personal audio or camera during the event. At the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a number of other icons. Please use the chat function for any comments you have during the presentation. We'd love to see where you're joining us from tonight, so let's give it a try and throw it in the chat. What's the weather like in your neck of the woods? By selecting everyone, you will ensure that the rest of the audience can see your comments. Please use the Q&A icon to submit any questions. Following the main presentation, we will be hosting a Q&A session. If you have a question at any point during today's presentation, make sure you post it in the Q&A, not the chat, to ensure that we see it. The Center for Railroad Photography and Art is a membership-supported organization with a mission to preserve and present significant images of railroading. We accomplish our mission through several core programs, including monthly online programs, conferences, traveling exhibitions, and the John E. Gruber Creative Photography Awards program, publications, and our Railroad Heritage Visual Archive. Our most recent publication, the Kalmbach Art Collection, Pairing Words and Imagery, is filled with color prints of the original paintings and drawings that comprise the Center's newest exhibition, currently on display at the Groman Art Museum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Due to the popularity of this exhibition, the Groman has extended the exhibition run to go through September 14th of 2025. This book is available on our website at www.railphoto-art.org/publications. Buy your copy today. All right, Elrond, do you think we're ready?
I think we're ready. We can roll. We can get this train rolling.
All right, I think we should.
Okay.
Let me get to the right screen and we'll start with the first interview for this evening.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm here with Dave Stanley, who placed first for black and white in the John Gruber Creative Photography Awards. Welcome to our Zoom, Dave, virtually.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for, honestly, I'm humbled by this selection, but I do appreciate that very much. Nice to see old work get recognized 50 years later. So
I bet. Yeah, it's been a few years since you shot this.
It has. And, you know, this was a time when there was this resurgence of covered wagons on Donner Pass, and in fact, all over California with the onset of Amtrak back in 1971. And, you know, this train was, prior to this time was an SDP 45 with maybe an F unit trailing. Every day you could count on that. And then with Amtrak coming on, the F units from SP's fleet all got pushed into Amtrak service. These E units from UP and Burlington started showing up. I'll tell you, it was like, pinch me, is this actually happening? You know, in 1972, 73, 74. And
Wow.
Unheard of. Any E units on Donner Pass is almost unheard of, other than the original city of San Francisco. I was trigger happy back then, and probably a big fan of everybody at Kodak because I burned a lot of film up for one or two shots. But this image here just always stuck out, and I've got, I think, two more after this. I'm pretty sure I was using a 105 millimeter lens, so mildly telephoto. But this one of the whole series, I think it's probably 5 in the series. This one just struck out, and the smoke was more evident in this one per se. And you really can't tell what it is. It could be an SPF unit. You know,
Yeah.
you really don't know it. There's that anticipation of what is it? We know it's the Zephyr, and that's about all we know. And I know we're at Gold Run, and coming off this flat here, there is a flat level, not level, but it's relatively flat here. So when, as an engineer for UP coming into Gold Run, this was the perfect place to basically kick your brakes off, get your train slowed down, kick your brakes off, pump up your air, and then continue on down the hill to Colfax. And knowing that, I didn't know it that much back then because I obviously wasn't working for the railroad in 1973. But knowing it now, I can see what's going on here. The engineer's coming off that flat, starting to climb back up, and he's got the throttle out, and we're getting that subtle smoke. And and the sound, of course, you know, you're anticipating the engine, that we know what the train is, what kind of horn has it got, what's the engine number, you know, why isn't the Mars light on? There's all this stuff going through your head, but it's like, this is still pretty cool.
So when you saw the contest theme, what made you think of this one? Did this come to mind instantly, or did you do a little digging first?
This one came to mind pretty quick. I did enter 2 other ones. One was on the Sierra Railroad, and of the 3, I think that one was probably my favorite with the windmill. There was a windmill in it and all this other stuff. But this one definitely was right at the top of the list of what I was considering.
I know you from, gosh, growing up, CTC Board magazine, your Central California Traction book. I know you and Ted and Dick and Dale all did the Western Pacific 72 to 82 books. So, I mean, a lot of your work is really out there, but what if you said you had a photographic style, if you had one, you know, not all of us talk about it, but what would you say? How would you describe yours?
Well, I always enjoyed working not only the equipment, but the people into it. A lot like John Gruber did. You know, John was one of my photographic heroes. And I had the pleasure, I got the date here, June 6th of 19, June 29th of 99, John and my son and I chased the 4449 up the Feather River. And it was really nice having him along for the day and just talking to him about everything of his that I had really enjoyed looking at over the years. And as far as my own style, being around the railroad for 41 years, I found a lot of character in everything, not just the trains, but the people. And some of my favorite works that I've shot that probably haven't made it to print are people at work on the railroad. But like you, I've got people that I followed growing up. Of course, Ted, who's a good friend of both of ours, and Dick Steinheimer. I fortunately got to meet and spend some time with him. And John, of course, Gruber, and then Plowd, and there's several others that I'm going to forget who half of them are. But
that's the hard part with questions like this. We're always going to forget someone.
yeah, and
There's
it's,
so many.
but I think, and maybe you do too, Elves, I recall photos from all these people, and then I try to blend that into what I'm trying to do, was trying to do. I don't do much shooting anymore. There's not a lot I don't like. I'm probably preferential to short lines, and then of course the Western railroads, but
Oh, right. Well, and you have that unique perspective because you're a railroader as well as a rail fan.
well, yeah, a lot of that perspective was at 3 o'clock in the morning.
At least for me, what I learned from especially Ted and Stein, two of the guys that I first really learned about in my earliest years, they were storytellers first. And, they did these wonderful pictures, but they always had a great story to go with it. And their writing and their photography just blended so nicely. And I think storytelling is such a big part of it too. And
It is.
you have that eye where you appreciate everything. And I think I generally am the same way.
Yeah, you are. Like your Route 66 book is fabulous. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, thanks. Well, I mean, I just follow in the footsteps of all you guys, and you all had you inspired me. So,
Well, I get inspired by a lot of the younger guys, including yourself, Blair Coyster, James House, Justin. Yeah, so it hasn't stopped. With Stein's passing and some of these other gentlemen, they're not with us anymore.
Right. Well, what advice would you give if you had a younger fan, say in maybe their 20s and they're really just starting out? What would you tell them?
Look at the big picture. Look all around. When you're searching for an idea, don't just expand your mind as much as you can. Look around, see what can be included in this photo that's not going to distract from what your main theme is, and then expand on your themes like smoke. That could have gone half a dozen ways. I was looking for a negative. In fact, I bugged Ted about it. I think he might have it somewhere in his darkroom of a picture I took of an SP engineer in West Oakland on a smoke break, standing outside the shanty with his SW 1500 idling away just a few feet away. And I thought that would be a really cool picture for the smoke theme.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wouldn't win anything, but it was another take on the theme. And I guess fortunately Ted couldn't find the negative, so it never got used.
Darn. Well, I think it worked out pretty well.
I'm not complaining. Look at the big picture. Look at who's up there making the thing work, and who's down here working on the track or whatever. There's so much going on the railroad. It's hard to really nail it down to one little piece of the pie.
Thank you so much, Dave, for joining us and sharing some time with us. And congratulations again.
Well, thank you, Elron. And gosh, like I said, I'm flattered that you guys like that photo, and well, looking forward to seeing what everybody else has to say.
Oh, that was great, Elrond.
Dave's a special guy. And I didn't mean for the casualness of us saying Ted a few times, but that was Ted Benson, if anyone was wondering. And so, but yeah, I'm really excited. We have such a great group tonight, and we can bring Charlie Dischinger on. One thing I noticed today, Lisa, is today online they said it's World Photography Day, so we could not
Oh, is it
pick a
really?
better, yeah, could
Yeah,
not have
I'm
picked a
gonna,
better day to bring all
yeah,
these talented people with us.
yeah, I'm just gonna bring Charlie up here.
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah.
Hey there. So, I think what we might do is bring up your image, at least for a few moments while we're talking. But I think everyone has seen it, of course. It'd be great to start off by just taking us through your first place color image. Here it is. It's just spectacular. And gosh, I just wonder, was it as hot as it looks in that image?
Actually, it was cold.
Ah.
This was in January of 2005. And for most of that trip, the temperature was rather mild for where we were, it was only about 10 below.
Wow. So take us through how you came upon this shot. Was it something you stumbled on? Was it something you were kind of envisioning in your head?
No, I didn't stumble upon it. This was my first trip to China. I was with a group, and I had no idea where we were going, what we were going to do next. I just rode on the bus and I got off when they said to get off. And we got to the Bon, and I was kind of ecstatic. A lot of the places, or most of the places in China, the pollution and smoke in the air was so great that you could shoot straight into the sun on almost any given day. And when we got there, it was very much the same. There was, a lot of haze and smoke. It was a golden sky. And there was a little bit of smoke drifting off of the service tracks. But the longer we were there and the lower the sun got, and then one engine left the service area and was working his way out. And all of a sudden, all the smoke, the wind shifted and the smoke was blowing across the sun. And it just kept getting better and better. And all I could think of at the time was reading about Dante's Inferno. And I said, if I had to illustrate that, this would be how I would do it. And I couldn't believe it. I shot about, maybe 2 rolls of film here.
Wow.
So it was another just classic location and situation.
One of those real magic moments.
Yes.
Yep. You just can't plan for those. You just
No, and I was there, what was it, about 12, 14 days, and I shot 80 something rolls of film. This is my last trip of shooting film.
Really? Well, you went out with a bang, that's for sure.
Yes.
Well, so wow, that's a great story. And now I know it was the coldest inferno ever,
Yeah.
at least in the history of this contest. Um, what made you think of this when you saw the smoke theme? Was this the first image that came to mind, or did you do a
One
little
of
hunting
two.
first?
One of two. When I saw the theme, 2 images immediately came to my mind. And one was about 12, 13 years ago. Happened to be in Chama, but this one, well, it's now 20 years. I guess it was 20 years this past January. And when an image sticks in your mind for 20 years, there's something magical about it. So it was not difficult. This was always one of the ones I was going to enter, and I had the other one that stayed in the whole time. So then it was just a matter of trying to find a third one to enter.
Right, right. At that point, you were almost like you were playing with house money. You already had just this amazing shot, and
Yeah.
like, how can you build on your riches and stack the odds a little?
And actually, I kind of like the other one. Personally, myself, I thought there was something a little bit special because it was at night and the guy was fireman was taking on water. So I liked to have the personal interest in what was going on. I have a couple of shots taken at the Bon here with this where there were workers walking along the track and silhouetted against the smoke, but it just didn't quite come together like this one did.
Yeah, like this one did. I mean, the steam and the smoke is just drifting perfectly in front of the sun, and it just has that great little arc to it.
Yeah. And
Well, there's so much going on, but that really stood out to me. But,
Yeah, and it's hard to really talk about it because this is just one of those pictures that explains itself.
hmm Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think it
Well,
was Ansel Adams one time said that the best pictures you can't describe, they describe themselves.
that's perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. The picture does the talking for us, right?
yeah.
Right. Oh, that's awesome, Charlie. And I saw a few comments popping up from the chat, so I'd say this has been a real dazzler for our crowd, and I've definitely seen a big reaction on social media for it. So it's just really exciting. So do you have any places that you are planning to go next? Do you have any targets that you're hoping to capture in the future?
No, I've always enjoyed traveling. I've been to all 50 states. I've been to most of the provinces of Canada. I've been to China,
Mm,
and I really don't have any, you know, amazing desire uh,
mhm,
to go to any particular place. Uh,
mhm.
my only lately, I've been working on a show for Winter Rail and Summer Rail, and
Oh.
it's about uh, bad weather. And again, I'll quote Ansel Adams, but he said, "Bad weather makes for good photography." And I've spent I had a lot of opportunities earlier this year with
Mhm.
thunderstorms and tornadoes, getting out and shooting in torrential downpours in the type of situation that most rail fans are huddled up in the house and don't want to get out in.
Exactly. I remember Shirley Berman has said a few times how Stein would tell her that it would be pouring outside, and he would say, "Well, it's got to be miserable up the hill. Let's go." And, she'd be rolling her eyes, and he'd go, "Well, at least there won't be a bunch of other rail fans up there."
Yeah, exactly. And
Hmm.
so that's been kind of my motivation the last year or so. With waiting, as soon as the weather's real bad, I'm out of here.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Congratulations. I was really, I am disclaimer, I am not on the committee. So when I saw the winners, I was really happy to see your name up there, and it was certainly just a
Well,
really thrilling shot and very deserving.
I
So,
really appreciate it. I feel quite honored to finally have one of mine selected.
oh, well, I bet it was worth the wait.
Yeah, yes, it was.
All right. Thanks so much, Charlie, for taking some
Mhm.
time with us. And that's the hard thing about doing this is I want to chat with everyone for a while, but I've got to get to a few other people. But we will definitely have a Q&A after this is over. And so we'll probably run a little bit after 6, but we'll also be recording this too, so people can tune in later. But thanks again, Charlie. And I think we'll go ahead and we're going to go to Al Crossley, who is our second place winner for black and white. And I think Lisa will probably pull up your really awesome smoking hot picture in British Columbia, right? So,
Well,
Al,
Thanks so much, Elron. I'm
oh,
like everybody else, humbled to be chosen. In fact, I'm thinking you guys should do third, second, first, so I wouldn't have to follow folks like David and Charlie. You're doing what you're doing, and glad to be here. Thank you.
oh, thank you, Al. Yeah, that's good advice. These guys are a tough act to follow, but I think you held your own really well, really well. I would just say really quickly that when I saw this shot, it immediately reminded me of when I was a teenager and in my 20s in Cajon Pass, at the foot of the pass in Devore, and the SP freights would come down with just brake shoe smoke, just pouring off, and you smell it all. And the minute I saw this, it took me back to that. So. What were you thinking? Was this something that you reacted to, or was this a shot you'd kind of suspected might happen?
No, it's kind of like a microcosm of my photographic life. The shots both before and after this. I was up above Lillooet chasing a southbound BCR train with a couple of MLWs on it, which were the main draw at the time. And the shots before and after were pretty basic 3/4 wedge shots. But somehow, as you know, or may know, the highway and the railroad change sides as they're going down the mountain. And I guess I got on the backlit side of the train and saw all the smoke and said, oh, wow, that's cool. I'd like to say I shot a whole sequence and this is the best one, but I shot one.
Really? Just one?
Just one that I can find. I went through all the slides again. I did convert it to black and white.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you knew somewhere deep down, you knew this was it, and you just shot the one.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, it's really exciting to me, and I see a few people popping up in the comments. I saw Dave Stanley say, "This is mountain railroading," so that's pretty high praise right there from someone who
It is.
knows.
Appreciate it, David. Thank you.
Well, it's really great. I guess curious again, when you saw the smoke theme, did you think of this one? Was this the first one that came to mind, or what was going on in your head?
Well, my thought process went through a couple steps. I thought, well, is there some not literal way to do this? Like if you smoke someone, you leave them in the dust, like in a cellar parking, passing the parked traffic on I-95 or something. And did I have anything like that? Or could I create something like that? And the answer is, nah, not really. And of course, we all have steam excursion shots with billowing plumes of wasted carbon. And I thought the judges would see a lot of those. So I just went with something that was less conventional.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily I had one.
Yeah, yeah. I think in the marketing of this contest, I was trying to convey to people that there were so many different ways to interpret smoke, and it was really exciting to see this.
So yeah, the answer is, for your question before is, yeah, this is just a reaction to what was happening. It was not planned.
Wow. So would you say, does this fit your usual style? Was this a departure, or is this? I'm familiar with your work because you've just had this wonderful story in our most recent issue of Railroad Heritage magazine about, oh gosh, where was it? In Southern Connecticut, Rocky Neck, and
Yes.
that was a beautiful photo essay. And so, how would you describe your style?
Oh Lord.
No pressure.
I'm not sure I know what my style is. I know some folks have told me, yeah, I can spot an Al Crossley picture and stuff, but I'm kind of too close to it maybe. What I would like to say is it's evolving, because for many, many years, I was content with basic documentation. Hey, the train was front lit, the composition was reasonably balanced, the color was good. It was, or maybe it wasn't, an interesting locomotive or consist or caboose or whatever. And then there'd be these moments that oh, shoot, that's important. I got to get that. And this is kind of like what that is. I have to put in a plug for Dennis Livesey because a few years ago, I saw one of his pictures. It was of 611. It was not an action shot. In fact, I don't think it was looking down from above. I don't think you could see whether the rods are up or down. There was no billowing smoke or anything like that. But it was just full of, it was dynamic. Even though the locomotive was standing still, there was substance and beautiful tone and color. And I just went, oh, that's what I should be doing. And so ever since, I've tried to look at things differently and to zoom in on compositions that go beyond the document. So do I still take 3/4 wedge shots? Oh yeah. But do I show them to anybody anymore? Not really.
That's right. Half the fun of this is knowing what not to show.
Yeah.
Well, some of it's just got to be fun too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's great. So what are some of your favorite railroads and places to photograph? I'm guessing your hometown region, but any other places that come to mind? Like obviously you trekked for this photo.
Yeah, remember I grew up in southeastern Connecticut and we had the New Haven Railroad. And the New
Mhm.
Haven Railroad was dying and it was filthy. And I
Mhm.
was seeing pictures in Trains magazine of the beautiful open West, and that's what attracted me out there. So anywhere out west, Canadian Rockies, California, Arizona, um,
Mhm.
and it's as much for the landscape and the openness and the loneliness as it is for anything else. But
Mhm.
I love your work on Route 66. It's amazing. But that's where I feel at home. It's really weird, but I
That's
really feel at home out there.
oh, that's great. That's your muse. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what connects with your heart. So,
Yep.
oh, that's great. Do you have any trips planned anytime soon back out west?
Actually, my wife and I are going to New Mexico, and so
Ooh.
we will do the Cumbres and Toltec, um, kind
Mhm.
of at her insistence. She wanted to do it. She actually likes coal smoke. Because
Oh.
we,
Oh.
we, we rode Cass a few years ago, and she said, yeah, I like that smell. Uh, I haven't had a chance to go out there yet, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's great. Boy, you couldn't have picked a better state.
Yeah, yeah.
That's wow. So last question, any advice to those who might be watching, or just to younger fans?
Do just the same advice I got. Do lots and lots of shooting, uh,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
be judicious in what you show people. Don't show them your mistakes. Learn how to
Mhm.
edit. Learn how to put the best show on. Take your photo and make it look its best through either cropping or contrast or whatever it is. Just
Mhm.
really work hard on those images. Don't assume it's done when you uh, fire the shutter.
Yeah. Yeah. Great, great point. All great points. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Al. We really appreciate you joining us, and be sure to stick around. We might have a few questions from the audience when we're wrapping up. So, but thank you again and congratulations.
Well, thanks, Oren. Pleasure to talk to you. Oren, you're not Oren. Thanks.
Be
Pleasure
whoever
to
you want.
talk to you.
Oh,
Take
no
care.
problem. Thanks so much, Al. Yeah, and I think we're going to talk with David Scharenberg. I see him in there. I see him decloaking. Hey, David. How are
Decloaking yet
you?
blurry background, so still obscured.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Well, congratulations to you too. David is
Thank
our
you.
second place winner for color. And I just love talk about mood and atmosphere. And I was secretly hoping someone would have a shot like this place in the awards. And I was very, very satisfied to see this.
Well,
So
thank you. It's an honor just being selected for even honorable mention for the Gruber Awards. I
mhm.
mean, the legacy that John leaves behind is so inspirational, and it's so much of an honor just to be continue in his footsteps.
Mm. He has set a legacy for all of us, that's for sure.
Absolutely. He broke the mold. He was one of the ones who broke the mold.
He, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as working with the center, I have come to have a familiarity with his work that I never thought I would, and he just blows me away over and over with his eye and his soul. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
oh well, I think he'd be pretty thrilled to see this.
But
How did this come about? I'm always curious, and I know you live in Sandwich, Illinois. Is that right?
yes, I live out in about an hour so west of Chicago. So it's not that much of an effort for me to get to Chicago, but at the same time, it is an effort to
Yeah.
get into Chicago. So this is John's old stomping grounds. This is the belly of modern Chicago Union Station, and I found myself here on this day. It happened to be I want to say it was Sunday in October 2011, and this was when Amtrak had their 40th anniversary train on display. They had had it there previously on National Train Day that year, but this year they brought it back because it was so crowded at National Train Day that people couldn't see it. So they brought it back, and on this being a Sunday, there's hardly anybody there. There was no trains coming in. There were no trains on the track. It was cool enough in the depths that and sunny that day that it just the diesel exhaust. It's pretty much a semi-permanent fixture there in Union Station. It was just lit up with the sun rays coming through, and I saw that. And I'm like, wow. To me, because I don't go to Union Station all that often, this is something that was extraordinary to me. But for so many people, this is something they see every day. So, one of the greatest lessons I've learned in photography actually came from a Center for article that appeared in Trains magazine back in the day, and in essence is don't be afraid to take pictures of the ordinary because one day it will become extraordinary. And this was extraordinary for me. So I just had to get a picture of it. And a lot of the pictures that I took that day have been some of my favorites, this one being one of them.
Yeah, it really stayed with you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw someone in the chat, I missed who, but a comment popped up about how the timing was so good that you've got that strip of light at the edge of the platform as well as the beams coming down. So it's just got such a nice balance to it. It's like perfect timing.
I actually never really looked at it like that. I was looking more of the lines coming down, not so much where they were landing. But yeah, it does also parallel the safety strips down there too.
Yeah, it's almost like a natural safety strip, right?
Right, right.
Exactly. Yeah, well, I think we have a few photographers watching, so I'm sure they're catching a few things that we're missing. But I think
Absolutely.
either way, yeah,
Yeah, when
either
you're
be
so
great.
close to it, you don't see the things like that other people do.
Right, right. But I think it'd be marvelous, and no matter where the light was hitting, those beams are just so beautiful. Did
And
you?
the irony being it's pollution and stuff that will
Mhm.
smells bad and can choke you.
It's a yeah, it's a sad contrast that
Right,
the things that are bad for us make really great pictures.
right. But it also expresses the grittiness of modern Union Station and I don't
Mhm.
want to say the decline of it, but how aged it is, and suspended in time,
Mhm.
while simultaneously sections of it are suspended in time while simultaneously being ultra
Mhm.
modern.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. So was this I always love to ask this question. Was this a shot that came to mind right away when you saw the contest theme, or did you do some hunting beforehand?
This was, I want to say it was in my mind, but I don't know if it was in the top three. It was definitely in the top five, although not this image particularly. I had
Mhm.
another one that I liked better, but this was in the midst of my Dutch angle phase. So I still like the Dutch angle stuff, but not a lot of people like Dutch angles. So fortunately, I had one where I didn't have a Dutch angle, and that was this one.
Oh, I see. Well, how interesting. Did you submit any others? Were they radically different from this?
I did submit two others. I was trying to think outside the box for a lot of them. Um, there was one I shot that was very similar to the one that was in the contest announcement. That one came to mind right away. The
Mhm.
diesel in way off in the distance with the its exhaust lit up by the setting sun, and then
Right.
uh, in a somewhat typical um, uh, steam train photo, but I shot it at night with a long exposure and a handheld flash. That's still one of my favorites, but it was, you know, still kind of um, typical to the theme. So trying to think outside of the box, you know, it came down a lot of hemming and hawing. Well, okay, which one? So that's part of my problem is being that decisive.
Oh, well, I think you made the right decision.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
No, you definitely did. Well, thank you so much. Let me ask you a couple more broad questions.
Sure.
We've kind of talked about inspiration a little.
Mhm.
Who do you draw inspiration from, or what kind of photography inspires you?
I draw inspiration from probably all kinds of photography. I'm very open in how I try and shoot and what I shoot. I try to be different though, and give my own spin on things instead of the typical. But there's so much that you kind of have to do. Um,
Right.
but Steinheimer and David Plowden, a lot of the guys from the past, John Gruber, absolutely. But you know, I try and apply the lessons that I learned from all walks of photography into every little aspect I do. Trains aren't the only thing I shoot, and likewise, uh, the lessons I learned from railroad photographers aren't just applied to railroad photography. So I'll put it everywhere. A lot of my inspiration are some of the people in my own photo club, actually, because we are all so many diverse uh, minds in there, and we'll sit side by side sometimes, and the stuff we could be taking pictures of the exact same thing, and the stuff that we get is radically different. So I'll see some of their stuff. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? And the jealousy factor kicks in. So
Oh, that's great. Those photo clubs are pretty cool. I mean, you really do get such a wild variety of perspectives, and
absolutely, absolutely, I would highly recommend uh, people who are, you know, if you've always wanted to network, reach out to your local photo clubs and join them, or join multiple photo clubs, because it's a great place to get inspiration, great place to learn about things you would never have had information about before, and you can share knowledge and learn that way.
Mhm. Oh, that's great. And you get like you said, perspectives that you can bring to your if you're only interested in trains, you can bring it to your railroad photography. But
Absolutely,
you could really
absolutely.
surprise yourself and
Right.
have a lot more fun.
I used to get a bunch of gruff from people in the club. Oh, it's just another train. It's just another train. And they started winning awards in the photo club. And they're like, huh, okay, well, let's take another look at this stuff then. And then I got another rail photographer who joined, and we became friends that way. And then another one joined. Now there's like four of us. And we've gotten other people to go out and shoot trackside now too. So
That's awesome.
we did a we did a presentation once where people asked, why do we shoot trains, and we used the example that it gives you an opportunity to use pretty much every photographic technique. So you could do silhouettes, you could do action, you could do leading lines, you know,
Yeah.
ultra wide angle perspectives, ultra zoom perspectives. The possibilities are limitless.
Yeah, nighttime photography. I
Right,
mean,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's no limit. Oh, that's a great. We're gonna need to bring you back for a program one day. So I
Well,
have to ask you, do- does the photo club know about this award yet?
no, no, nobody knows about this yet, other than the few people that I've told at work. We are off for the season, and we will be starting back up in actually September 11th is our first meeting, so that's why I'll make the announcement.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, well, this is so great. Thank you so much, David, for joining
Thank
us.
you.
It's been just a total pleasure to talk with you. And again, I saw a few comments popping up of people that really, really admire your shot. So
Well,
congratulations.
thank you. It's a huge honor. Huge honor.
Oh, thanks again. Well, I think we have two more talented people to talk to. So I believe Jim Ehrenberger is going to join us next. So let's see if we'll get James live. Hey, hey, Jim, how are you?
Oh,
Can you hear me okay?
yeah, can you hear me?
I do. I hear you now.
Loud and clear. Well, I'm in my basement here and it got a little chilly, so I had to put on something to cover up my bare arms. This temperature in Wyoming is not as warm as some parts of the world. Yes, I hear you fine, and thank you very much for uh, the the judges and everyone who selected that photo. And I'll tell you all about it here.
Oh, well, we'd love that. I think tell us. Let me ask you one question first. So I was curious. Scott and I had a chat about this amazing shot yesterday, and we wondered, were you able to fire off a frame of the train coming at you as well? Because we kind
Oh
of get
yeah.
the feeling he might be slow moving.
Oh yes. Yes. I will tell you. I printed out Lisa's or your questionnaire or whatever, and uh, I think I can kind of go through this a little, and then if you have questions as I go, let me know. I do have a hearing handicap, so it's kind of, but your voice comes in loud and clear. Thank you.
Oh, great.
First off, you said in your eyes, how does this image express the contest theme of smoke? Well, I have a lot of smoke shots. Trains used to smoke a lot, and uh, I was very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time, where we had steam operation lasting up until this, like this scene is in March of 1959, and uh, I was a kind of a loner here because I went out on my own here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I had worked for the Union Pacific for 6 years, and
Mhm.
uh, when we get all through, I'll kind of cover a little bit about my camera equipment, but if that's okay. So it just happened to be this Colorado and Southern, which is a subsidiary of the Burlington. And if you hear me say CNS, well, it's this railroad, and it is currently now part of the Burlington Northern and Santa Fe, north of Cheyenne. This photograph was taken about 30 miles north of Cheyenne. And
Mhm.
this was the first steam train they had operated for uh, more than 2 months. The steam was disappearing right at this time, and it was the last of it. And so the railroad was dieselizing rapidly. However, on this particular day, they had a couple cars that had been derailed that they needed to go up, and it was a work train, so they needed to go up and re-rail the cars. And then they also had a limestone quarry nearby, and the limestone was owned, the quarry was owned by the Great Western Sugar Company. um, Maybe everyone knows, I don't know, but sugar requires lime rock to produce
Mhm.
sugar. So that was a big industry here in this Rocky Mountain region.
I see.
My voice, it's changed. Anyhow, regardless. So uh, I, I I kept tabs with the employees of this railroad, and the roundhouse foreman was friendly. And these people used to call me up because I gave them pictures, so they liked me, I guess. So anyway, this particular day they were going up with this work train, so I just
Mhm.
went up and took some pictures of the work train. And then it left that station of Horse Creek. And I was able to follow it. In those days, the trains really didn't run all that fast. This no doubt probably did not operate any faster than 25 miles an hour. So there's no planning in this photography. But so since the trains operated so slow in this particular picture, it was shot at 1/400th of a second. Now, my camera did shoot up to 1,000th of a second, but I never used it. We didn't. Now, my style of photography was pretty much adopted by, I followed a pattern of what Richard Kindig and Otto Perry of Denver had used. My first communication with those photographers was in May of 1953. The Rocky Mountain Railroad Club of Denver operated an excursion from Denver to Laramie, and they made it stop on top of Sherman Hill because 1 week after that, the helper locomotives would be discontinued because they had a new third main track route to the south. And so the club chartered a train, and I got on 9 miles west of town, and we stopped at Beaufort. They let the passengers off, and then when it started to hail, everybody got back on, and we went to Laramie. And the train was in Laramie about 2 hours, so they could turn the equipment and people could have lunch. And it was open house. It wasn't like these later years where you're restricted. You can't go here, you can't go there, and there's some police or someone's going to stop you. So it was amazing. Well, while I was on that trip, I did meet Mr. Kindig, and in fact, in his logbook, of which I have the photographs, he put my name down with my mailing address. And his style was a wedge style, and pretty much all the same. He liked to get that angle because he wanted to include the entire train in the scene, and he preferred to get it perhaps on a curve or depending on his location. And of course, he liked smoke also, and so did I. So that was a style. Lucius Beebe published several books, and when I was a student in high school, the only books we had in the library happened to be Lucius Beebe books. And so with these action photos that he had, and with the Kindig and the Perry style, well, that's what I wanted also. So this leads into another situation. So my goal was always shooting action as much as I could. However, I collected and took pictures of a lot of still static locomotive scenes. And I was fortunate that the big boy locomotives were operating up until 1959, and I photographed all 25 of them on Sherman Hill and in the area.
Wow.
So, of course, my interest was to try to get, just like Kindig, on a grade where they'd probably be working hard, make smoke. This particular view here is an upgrade, leaving that Horse Creek at Horse Creek, and then has to get up out of that valley. And the grade is only just right around 1%. It isn't real heavy, but it's still a grade. And with the rock and the tonnage that they had, and it was adequate and ideal. And I did follow, you asked, did I get a view of it arriving that point, and then I turned the camera. Yes, I did, because that view has a lot of smoke also. And then, of course, the place I had to park was some distance down this grade because it was on a hillside. And so, of course, I was only about 21, so I could get up there like a mountain goat and get high. And so this angle being high like it was a great benefit. Plus the
Mhm.
sunlight.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then
I think all those elements, the angle and the way the smoke is turning in such an unusual way, and the texture of the smoke is, and we've seen a lot of smoke pictures, and that's not something I've seen before. There was just something about that texture that just really made it just stop me in my tracks. So,
well, and what's also interesting about the area is that it's hilly and it's ranch country. It's
yeah.
not growing any corn up here. It's all livestock industry and
Oh, right,
uh,
right.
other
What?
than that mine. So
Yeah.
there's very few rail fans that would go north of Cheyenne when I would propose that sometimes. They love to go to Sherman Hill because the Union Pacific operated a lot of trains. They could get a lot of pictures
Hmm.
and so on. Well, I
Right.
spent a lot of time north of Cheyenne getting photographs on this particular line, and
All right. So north of Cheyenne, I'm gonna take your advice.
if you
And
come out here sometime, give me a call. I'll tour you around. So
oh, I would love that. Thank you so much, Jim. This was a real treat to get to talk with you, and congratulations again on placing third, and I think for just wowing all of us with this, this great
well,
classic shot. So,
well, thank you very much too. It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure. It's a pleasure to meet the other photographers here. I want to mention here, if you can see,
let's see it. Let's see it really fast. Hopefully no
this
one will mind. This
this
is
is
pretty
the
cool.
camera that I used, and I paid $250 for this camera. Uh, it just happens to be that on that trip, that excursion to Laramie, well,
Hmm.
Mr. Kindig and Mr. Perry had similar cameras. They were an older model and a postcard size, of which this is not that large a film format. But when I got back into town, there was a yardmaster that was a photo bug. And he asked me what I thought of the trip. And I told him, I said, well, you should have seen these guys with these big cameras looking down through the top and getting these action pictures. He said, well, that's a Graflex. I said, well,
Yeah.
I'll be darned. So I said, I didn't know that. And he said, well, would you like one? And I was 15. I said, well, I don't have any money. He said, well, he said, when will you be 16? I said, July, which is 2 months away only. I said, in July. And he said, well, if I can get you a job on the railroad, will you buy my camera? I said, sure. He got me a job. Right after my 16th birthday, I was working as a call boy, crew caller on the Union Pacific. That was on a midnight shift, knocking on doors at the hotels or houses, telling people when.
Oh, calling the cruise.
And
Hmm.
so, and on a time payment basis, I bought the camera. That was the best move I ever made in my life because I had a professional camera. I never claimed to be a professional, but
Hmm.
that's what made it. And so before
Oh,
too long, in the March 1955 Trains magazine, I had two photographs published when I was about 17 years old.
hmm.
I don't know. I should have marked those.
That's
Anyway,
okay.
so, but what happened after that, Lucius Beebe called me and he wanted pictures for a book that he was preparing. So I submitted the photographs. The photographs that he, what was in the magazine was on the Burlington. We had a little Burlington branch line came in here from Sterling, Colorado. These
Hmm.
are the two photographs.
Oh, and there they are. And
So
those are yours. So were those your first published photos?
I first published photos at age 17 from that camera.
Oh
So
my goodness. That's
So
amazing.
anyway, so Lucius, I just sent him the negatives, and Charles Clegg printed them. And in the book, The Age of Steam,
Oh, The Age of
there's
Steam.
probably
Yes,
about 10 or 12
I have that
my
book.
photograph, and that got my name national basis. I feel Lucius Beebe was
Wow.
very helpful because I had pictures in other books he
Mm-hmm.
produced too. So
Wow.
and
Jim,
okay, now talking about younger people, what would I think? Well, younger people are very lucky. They have drones. We didn't have
Mhm.
drones. So much of this was just ground level, or when I got high on the hill there. But the younger people have drones. The equipment today with digital, it's really darn good because in bad light conditions and things like that, it's superior to what I could get on film. And so it's an improvement, but it's still nice though. I mean, and I did this on the basis of thinking that it's historic preservation. I'm a preservationist, and so it's historic preservation is why I'm doing this. Well, I retired from Union Pacific a little early, management buyout in 1988, and since that time I've been to 16 foreign countries, and primarily steam operations. And one of the questions was, what would I like to do yet? Well, if I wasn't so old, and I'm a little leery of air travel with COVID still happening.
Yeah.
One place I wish I had gone was Switzerland. Switzerland is
Switzerland, really?
like to go. So
Oh, well, Jim, I have to tell you, there was a comment that came up. We may just have to do a program just with you in the future.
well, it depends on how, if you want to get it piled higher and deeper, I can tell a lot of stories. I have
I think our crowd is really loving it, and I thank you so much. I mean, you're a name I grew up just admiring your photography, and you definitely helped influence me. So thank you so much for, taking some time to tell us stories, and I hope we could do this again soon.
well, thank you too. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thanks again, Jim. And okay, let's talk to Jeff. Jeff, I don't know how you're going to follow that.
I'll try my best.
Oh, you'll do great. You'll do great. Well, let's get your picture up, and I think this one really just stopped me in my tracks again. You to overuse that phrase, but I have to say I was not expecting this, and I kind of jumped backward when I first looked at it, and wow, there is just furious action going on in this shot, and then of course it just looks absolutely freezing.
It was.
California whims.
It was actually 4 degrees that morning. This is St. Ignace, Michigan, and this is Hail to the Chief. The chief was a coal-burning, hand-bombed right to the end, ice-breaking car ferry, built in 1911 in Toledo, Ohio. And at this time, in February of 1983, the clock was ticking on her, and she was only running once a week. So always Thursdays, and the Sioux line would come from Marquette, I think 140 miles away, to come down and load her, and she would go across the Straits of Mackinac to Mackinac City, and the Detroit and Mackinac did the switching in Mackinac City, but most of the traffic went down the Michigan Northern on the old Pennsylvania line toward Grand Rapids. But yeah, the clock was ticking on the chief, and we made the early morning drive up to St. Ignace for our shot. So she hadn't run in a week. The ice, I guess, was about 18 inches thick from the previous week's trip. While we were waiting for the Sioux line to show up, we heard a crack of a window, and it was the captain up in the pilot house. He says, "Get out of the cold and come on aboard. Walk up the steps and you'll find your way up here." And so we did, and we had a nice long talk with him and got a tour of the engine room, and still the Sioux line hadn't showed up. So it was a good time, and he eventually invited us to go along for the ride. And that was a tough decision because I wanted to get pictures of the boat in the ice, and we didn't know how much longer this operation would go on. And it went on for about another year. The apron, the loading dock at St. Ignace collapsed, and that basically ended the operation.
Oh, is that
September of '84.
So, so how long was that after you shot this from when?
This was February of '83, so it was a little over a year and a half later.
Okay. Okay. Whew. Boy. Well, I'd say pretty much at this point you got the shot. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, she backed out and you could hear the ice crunching, and that is actually soot falling in front of the pilot house, in front of the boat as she backs out. Normally, 9 months of the year, she just uses the rear boilers and that rear stack you'd get smoke out of, and never got smoke out of the front stack, which was the set of boilers. She had a bow propeller, which would help her with the ice breaking.
I see. And if you don't mind, what are those lumps in the foreground? Is that like part of the
Those are
dock?
old piers from long removed docks, and the ice from
Okay.
waves and everything just kind of built up on it. On the we're standing on the shoreline.
Okay.
They backed out, so they kind of backed out and turned the stern to the south, and then kind of did a 180 and headed across the straits. And it's about a 8 to 10 mile trip across the straits over to Mackinac City. So when we went over to Mackinac City, same amount of smoke, but it was a blinding snowstorm. So we had both extremes of weather that day.
Yeah, you saw it all. Wow. Well, I'm curious. My other question is, what was the sound like?
It was pretty much quiet. The only noise was a little hissing of the steam, and basically the boat working in the ice, a little bit of crunching, that type of noise. She blew the whistle once or twice, which was fantastic. It was a pair of whistles side by side, just a deep steamboat whistle. Wood superstructure. We were checking out all those rear cabins between that rear mast and the rear stack, and I walked in a stateroom and I went right through the floor. A lot of dry rot on that. People say, "Oh, it should have been a museum." It was, it would have cost a lot of money to fix that up so the public could be on it. And I don't know how you'd get up there. The stairway was extremely narrow, maybe no more than 3 feet wide, if that, 30 inches.
Oh Lord, yeah, yeah. So that would not have been realistic, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the early days, they ferried passenger cars across. So the people would go up above and enjoy the ride as they carried because the New York Central and the Pennsylvania ran trains into Mackinac City, and then the sleeping cars and that kind of stuff would move across the straits to the Sioux line.
So was this the first shot that came to mind when you saw the theme of our contest?
It was one of them. I've got a lot of smoke shots, but I picked out probably 10. I had Kathy come in and look them over, but that was one of the ones. I had a shot of CNO 1309 leaving Cumberland in the morning. That was just a stupid amount of smoke. But this was a contender. I figured,
yeah,
it did the job.
Right. It's not your typical, it is not your typical smoke shot in terms of, in this case, because of the subject matter. I mean, because we're on ice. There's no rails.
Well, the rails were on it, but hey, she had three tracks on her.
That's right. It's carrying the rails.
It would carry 26 or 28 40-foot cars.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, well, she was all through the late 60s, 70s, one trip a week. When Conrail happened and the Michigan Northern was formed, for them to get business, they flagged out on lumber shipments from the Pacific Northwest. Suddenly, all the lumber that was going to the east was coming via the Sioux Line and the Chief Wawatam. So she was running 7 days, as many trips as she could turn around and go back and forth. And it was crazy for a couple of years there. It was just constant. And then that flag out on the rates kind of disappeared, and the business did too.
Right. So would you say, how often is I guess, what part of the lake boat collection makes up your overall railroading photography collection?
I did the lake boats real heavy in 79 and 80. I would go up to Sault Ste. Marie and sit for 4 days just shooting boats. I'd shoot the Algoma and the Sioux Line when I knew they were running, but then I'd shoot boats the rest of the day. But I'm glad I did that, because that was before the economic downturn in 81, and some fleets just disappeared. And then the 1,000-footers were coming in, and every 1,000-footer wiped out 6 to 8 of the smaller boats, just on capacity and crews and everything else. So got a lot of boat pictures. If you grew up in Michigan shooting trains, you shot lake boats too. It's just part of the deal. And railroads all had ferries. There are ferries at Detroit over to Windsor, stuff that wouldn't fit through the tunnel. Then you had all the Lake Michigan ferries, which was a big part of things too.
Yeah, part of the territory. Yeah, the character of the area. Yeah,
the CNO, well, the Pure Marquette boats out of Ludington, and then they became CNO, and then the Ann Arbor boats out of Frankfurt. So,
right. So, what inspires you nowadays, Jeff?
Anything. I like doing short lines. The big guys, it's pretty much the same thing all the time. Some of the short lines around me, the Lake State and Great Lakes Central, are a big focus, but not entirely. I love the Colorado narrow gauge. I haven't been out there for a couple of years, so I'm kind of getting an itch on that again. So, I love steam, whether it's boat, there aren't too many left, or rail. So
I wondered how many on boats, how many steam powered boats are out there now.
Running right now, I think 3. There's no
Wow.
Canadian ones left.
Did you say
Couple
Canadian?
parked right now. Pardon?
Oh, did you say Canadian?
None of the Canadian fleets have any steamboats left.
Oh, okay. So where would we find them? Where would we find the survivors?
One's the Wilford Sykes. They haul for Cleveland Cliffs. So it would be ore and limestone, pretty much normally going to Chicago, but she has started running this year to Cleveland. There's a cement carrier, which is the oldest, the Alpina, built in 42, that's waiting on steam turbine parts. And she's parked at Cleveland right now, waiting on those parts. They keep saying August, but she's still parked there. Everybody keeps asking the question, when's she going to run? So, but,
oh God,
few and far between.
So much.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fascinating. It's a whole other world, in our rail fan world. This is a whole world within it, and it's just, yeah. I think our audience is really enjoying this little detour onto the water. So, but it just made for a magnificent portrait. So
yeah, and someone just typed it up. And the Badger running across Lake Michigan is still coal fired and steam. And ride that. I've heard rumors she may be getting dieselized. So if you want to see and smell the coal smoke, start making plans.
Oh, right on. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. So, what else is out there that inspires you these days? I know your interests are everywhere. What is there a certain photography that grabs you? Is there
Pretty much everything. I love sunsets and sunrises. That's a number of people have said, if you don't make the effort, you don't get the shot. You got to get up early, or you got to stay up late, or go to locations that aren't easy to get to. So yeah,
I can relate. Like they say, you'll forget about all the pain and suffering later, but you'll have this picture.
Yes. Back then, the only worry was it was 4 degrees out and you wind your film real slow so it doesn't break, which was always our worry. I went to China twice, and Charlie, I had the very same situation at Daban with that low sun. It's sunset. It was amazing there, but same thing. It's 25 below zero. You can't just wind your film real fast. You don't want to hear that snap and then uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, the party's over.
Yeah. Digital people don't have to worry about that.
No, I was just thinking that. I suppose you could still lock up your digital body, but that's not like with film.
I don't miss film at all. I like the smell of it. That was about it. Other than that, it was a problem. I mean, my last trip to China was 120 rolls. You know, and the hard part was you were packing them in lead bags so that the x-rays wouldn't damage them.
Of course, right. Another thing we don't have to worry
That's
about.
another thing that's long behind us.
Right.
It wasn't one x-ray, it was multiple and multiple coming and going, and it was a big worry.
Yeah.
Some of my Tri-X black and white got fogged, and that was being in lead bags. So
Oh, really? So it just a bad combination of X-ray power, I guess.
yeah, well, when you're in China, you don't know what the power was.
I see the point. Well, I'm glad most of your work survived.
Yes, yes.
Well, Jeff, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you. Congratulations for landing third place. And I think our audience really loved it. And
Thank
gosh,
you.
Lisa, I think we got through everyone. I really appreciate everyone who's stuck with us. And I see most of our crowd is still there. So thank you all.
Yeah, it's
Thanks for everything.
fantastic.
Your stories are the best, you guys. So
Yeah.
thank
Well, I'm just looking at the Q&A now, Elrond, and we don't have any questions that came through. We'll give it a couple seconds to see if anyone has any questions, but we'll ask everyone to turn on their cameras.
Yeah, if you guys can all turn on your cameras.
Join us here.
I'll take a group picture with my phone. How's that for meta?
That sounds great.
Well, I need Charlie and Jim though. We'll have to get them lit up. So let's see. There we go. I think can we get Jim lit? Can we get his camera going?
Just waiting for him to come on.
It might take a second. Hey, there we go.
Okay, I'm gonna go off and get everybody.
Oh, you're fine. Okay, you guys, I'm going to take a photo with my phone. That is about as 2025 as we can get. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Thank you all so much for joining us. This has been just tremendous fun, and your stories are as good as the pictures. So we really appreciate it. And thanks to our audience again for joining us.
Yeah, and I'll just say quickly that we will have our next program on September 9th at 7 p.m., where we're celebrating the 200th anniversary of the Stockton and Darlington Railway. Dutch Tubman will be presenting, and his presentation is called Linchpin, the Long Road to the Opening of the Stockton and Darlington Railway. So many people in the chat are just chiming in how beautiful everybody's photographs were, and it looks like Tim Johnson just said, what an excellent presentation. So well done, everybody. And thank you for joining us again. And congratulations on your win for 2025.
Okay.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you again.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and call it a night. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we'll see you on September 9th.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Elrond.
Thank you.
Bye.